The minutes for February 17th are approved. And if we could check to see if we have any open public comments signed up to speak today.
We haven't received any, Madam Chair.
Thank you. I have no chairman's report today, so we'll go ahead and move on to item number 7, which is the draft fiscal year 2730 Transportation Improvement Program and Regional Conformity Assessment, and we'll receive a presentation from Carrie, and we will take action on this information today.
Hi, good morning. I just want to make sure everybody can hear me and see my screen.
Yes.
Perfect. Good morning, TAC. Thank you for your time and attention. My name is Carrie Wagenhauser, and I'm here today to talk about the public review period for the TIP project list and the draft conformity report. As we heard this morning, we are having the conformity report and the TIP project list at the same time. So we would love if TAC could open the public comment period for the draft conformity report and TIP reports.
Yes, we'll go ahead and open the public comment period.
I think we might need a voice vote for this one.
Okay. Sure. All those in favor say aye.
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 Hold on, Madam Chair. I think we need a motion and a vote on
Okay.
this
Yeah,
item.
need
So,
it first and second.
yeah, the request, just to clarify, is for TAC to authorize opening the public review of the draft conformity and TIP reports.
So moved by Naomi Slapmock.
Second.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch the second.
Wood Hudson, second.
Thank you, Wood.
Sure thing.
All those. Yeah, I'm having some audio issues. So I believe we have a motion by Naomi and a second by Wood. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed? Very well then. Thank you. Are there any further comments or concerns? If not, we'll move on to item number 8, flexible regional funding for existing project request for the Hall Street Improvement Project Phase 3. Ms. Carrie Watt.
Just want to make sure that everyone can see my screen again and hear me and all of that good stuff. Good morning, TAC. Thank you for your time and attention again. My name is Carrie Wagenhauser, and I'm here today to talk about the Whole Street Phase 3 project, also known as UPC 115200. On this slide, I'd like to provide a bit of context about the project and the challenges that are being faced. We're continuing with the overview of the Whole Street Phase 3 project. As a reminder, the locality for this project is the city of Richmond. This phase focuses on preliminary engineering, and the project is currently supported through RSTP funding. We're seeing significant cost impacts in the project's cost drivers. Right-of-way acquisition has become substantially more expensive than in previous years, and this alone has put considerable pressure on the budget. Additionally, utility relocation and installation of water and sewer infrastructure have escalated sharply. And contractor bids have increased since phase 1, and because we're required to remove and replace overhead private utilities, the work has become much more extensive. We are also dealing with a highly constrained work area, particularly for stormwater, sewer, and water installations. This means that construction activities are also more complicated, slower, and ultimately more costly. Together, these factors, again, the right-of-way costs, utility impacts, rising bids, and limited workspace are the primary drivers driving the project's funding needs. I want to step back and show how phase 3 fits in within the broader Hall Street Corridor program. What you're seeing here is the full sequence of improvement projects extending across multiple phases. phase 1 through phase, I believe, 8, as well as related connections like the Mayo Bridge and Southside Plaza. Together, these projects represent a transformative investment in one of the region's most important and most challenged corridors. When you're looking at all phases combined, we're talking about more than $290 million in total planned investments. Phase 3 is just one of the components for a much larger long-term vision and plays a critical role. Each phase is designed to improve safety, mobility, and multimodal access along Hull Street. And phase 3 is a key link in advancing the corridor towards that vision. Understanding this broader context helps highlight why phase 3 matters, not just for this segment, but for the overall corridor transformation. The requested action for the TAC is to review and recommend partial approval of the city's funding request. Staff have previously recommended partial award of $3 million of the total $7 million requested. And today we're asking that TAC support moving the recommendation forward and so the project can continue to progress. If anyone wants me to go back to a slide or anything like that, please just let me know. Happy to navigate through that.
I think Naomi has a question.
Great, thanks. I appreciate everyone. I know last meeting I made a motion to defer this one to this meeting, had some digging to do to get a better understanding of the project description. So looked into that with the project coordinator and tried to get a hold of the city of Richmond to help as well. So yes, it looks like the deficit is to address a local contribution, which isn't unordinary, I guess, for these requests. So no concerns there from us. We had some concerns with some of the language about having to go back due to VDOT's request to address environmental, and we dug into that a little bit, and it looks like there were conversations in the past that environmental was done when this was part of a whole Hull Street Road project before it got phased out, and that some of that was out of date, and that the city had the opportunity to kind of make an argument as to why that environmental analysis should remain valid. I haven't been privy to the results of that conversation, but that's where it stands. I have no more concerns. I just appreciate the time to allow me to dig into this. So I just wanted to share that.
Thank you, Naomi. So just a question, Naomi, is the environmental validity of that report due to the changes in the regulations that went into effect?
So
July
I think it
1st?
was mostly the date of the last environmental work. So 2018 was the last time this was studied as a bigger scope of an overall Hull Street Road project. So with the expansion of the scope and the passage of time, that was the major concerns related to the environmental.
Thank you for the clarity on that.
Of course.
Any other questions from the members? If not, can we get a motion on this action?
Motion to approve.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second from Naomi.
Thank you. All those in favor, say aye.
This is JJ. Really quick, can we clarify what we're recommending for approval? Is it the partial award?
Yeah, Naomi, did you want to speak to that?
Oh, yeah, that sounds like what the motion is, the partial award of the $3 million. I think Beth may have made the motion, so I think we'll check with Beth to make sure that's the $3 million.
Yes, that is the motion.
Thank
Thank you
you.
for
Very
clarifying.
good. Any other questions? All right, all those in favor, say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Very well, thank you for the clarification. All right, moving on to item number 9, the Transportation Alternatives Project Rankings by Mr. Phil Riggin.
Madam Chair, it looks like there was a comment that Daniel Wagner is having trouble speaking. Sid, can you confirm, Daniel?
He's able to speak. I've enabled it. I'm not sure what's going on. Let me try this way. All right, Daniel, can you speak now?
It looks like I can. Thank you. Appreciate it, Sid. Yes, so sorry, y'all. I had hoped to make a pitch for not just partial funding, but the full $7 million request for tax consideration. But I believe that this partial funding motion has already passed. So I'm not entirely sure what the process would be.
You can make a motion to reconsider or a motion to amend something previously adopted.
Then I would make a motion to reconsider, please.
And we'll just need a second.
Second, this is Joe Vidunas.
Thank you.
Joe. Very well. There's a motion to reconsider the full funding. Is that the motion, if I understand it correctly? All those in favor of reconsidering with the motion on the floor from Daniel to approve, say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Very well. The motion is approved. Sarah Keel, if you will just make a note.
Yeah, so I have a motion to reconsider. So now the floor is open back up for discussion and you can discuss it again before doing the vote again.
Thank you. Any comments, discussion, concerns?
I guess I know that the Richmond TPO recommended just the 3 million. I was wondering what kind of budget impact this would have if we went to the 7 million, if someone could discuss that a little bit.
Madam Chair, I can address that question. So there is sufficient funding in the RSTP and STBG balance entry to cover this full request. The initial number of 3 million was based on sort of just inflating the initial construction costs, looking at inflation over the previous years. However, as noted in the updated presentation, there have been several other drivers as part of this beyond just sort of inflationary costs, additional requirements for undergrounding utilities, things like that. So there are other elements that have driven the cost. So staff's recommendation was based strictly on inflating it out to kind of from the initial year of selection to the current year.
Thanks.
Thank you. So I see some hands up. If we could maybe check in with Sharon Smudler.
All right, good morning. What is the city of Richmond adding to this project of their local contributions, or are they asking for 100% funding of the shortfall? Daniel?
Yes. So we have, in addition to the request from the TPO, requested 2 million in GO bond funding for this upcoming fiscal year, and then 2 for the fiscal year thereafter. So there is definitely a City of Richmond contribution to this project. The reason for the inflated costs, as Carrie outlined, has been definitely unexpected right-of-way acquisition costs that have inflated it further, as Miles pointed out as well. But we certainly also have some good local skin in the game.
I know, Rrtpo, we tried with some of our applications, like even if there's a shortfall, we try to go like 50-50 where we can, since, you know, it's within our control too. So I guess there's an 11 million you're trying to make the difference of with the 4 and the 7, because the 2
Correct.
go bonds and then, or whatever, sorry, the 4 million plus the 7 million you're asking for the TPO. So that's 11 million. And if you did half of that, that'd be 5.5 million. If we met halfway, I think, if maybe we can meet in the middle between the 3 million and the 7 million. Just want to bring that up for other TAC members to consider. Thank you.
Thank you, Sharon. JJ, you have your hand up?
Yes, thank you. I had a question about like project schedule. Has public involvement been done and utility coordination already been done in terms of figuring out who's paying for what? Or is it still just carrying contingencies until you get to that coordination?
Yes, it's the latter of the two.
Okay, and then schedule-wise, when is it slated for construction?
FY29.
So then I just wanted to confirm, did you say that you haven't done the utility coordination yet to dial in the cost?
I'm sorry, we have, but we've not done the full public engagement yet.
Okay. So your impacts and such could change still, is my question.
I don't anticipate that based on where we're at now, but we do have to carry that a little extra contingency, so we might be able to come down a little bit in the next year or so. I think there's a little bit to be done, but the contingency is, I think, a big driver as well. So we do have, I think, a little bit more inflated than in order to be more conservative.
Okay. And then I'll just ask the question, would it be, excuse me, would it be appropriate to, as the project develops, to come back once those contingencies are evaluated more as the project progresses towards construction and maintain the MPO recommendation of the partial award for now?
So would the suggestion be we come back in the next round of CMAQ to and if needed, then make an additional request? Is that what you're offering?
Yeah, I was kind of thinking it may be premature to provide the full 7 if there's still some cost savings that may be realized as the project progresses, especially with construction roughly 2 years out. I
think we would be more comfortable with maybe taking that approach, but going halfway with, as Ms. Smidler suggested. I think that's something that could be amenable to the city. Just to ensure that it appropriately progresses.
That's all. That was all my questions. So I believe it's Joe has his hand up next.
Yeah, go ahead, Joe.
Yes, thank you. So just first, Daniel, did you say go bond? Are this basically like municipal bonds?
Yes.
Okay. I'm not familiar with that. Okay, so I generally agree with what Sharon had stated, that with every request there should be some local skin in the game. But I'm just trying to understand the math. Basically, $11 million shortfall. If you're doing 4 million in go bonds, that would be about 36%. So roughly 1/3 city, 2/3 TPO funding. Do I have that right?
I believe that math is correct.
Right. Okay. 80/20 is always kind of a good starting point. So 1/3, 2/3, I think is, well, it's greater than that. So, in terms of a local contribution, so, I think it's reasonable. But, I will defer to others, if somebody wants to make a motion, but I do like the fact that, there is a, fairly significant local contribution. And I think the expectation would be that the local funds would be spent first. So if there, with that contingency, if there is a balance, at the end, that balance would be in the CMAQ funds that would be returned.
Madam Chair, that is correct. Thank you, Joe. I think the big thing for us that really drives this as a priority is this entire corridor has an enormous amount of activity going on right now because of how dangerous it is. So that's the real genesis behind pushing particularly hard for this this project. It's the deadliest corridor in the city of Richmond and definitely one of in the region, which is why we've been grateful to work with Chesterfield, especially as we get closer to the county line, to make sure that we're coordinating. So, for instance, we'll have 2 smart scale requests come up this year. One for Chesterfield's portion as it intersects with Chippenham Parkway, and then connecting into the city there right next to River City Middle School, which is just southwest of this particular segment. So, throughout the region, we're seeing 9.5% of serious injuries and crashes on 0.5% of the corridors, and Hall Street is one of them. So that's the general provenance of our urgency around the request. I understand the concerns, but for us, it makes the most sense to be as prepared as possible to move the project forward, and that full 7 million gets us there. I think we could work with Ms. Smidler's approach, and then see where we're at, to potentially either return some funding or make an additional request. But that's why we're particularly earnest in seeking these funds.
Thank you, Daniel. Any other discussion? All right. If we're generally all kind of feeling like Miss Myler's suggestion is a good one, there's no further discussion. Would anyone like to make a motion?
I will try to make the motion. This is Sharon Smidler with Rrtpo. I make a motion to partially fund the request for the Hull Street project with RSTP for the request amount was 11 million. So taking that in half, 5.5 million currently for towards this project.
This is Joe Vidunas. I'll second.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sharon. Thank you, Joe. Any further discussion? We'll go ahead and take a voice vote. All those in favor of Ms. Midler's motion?
Aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Very well. Thank you for that negotiation. And I think that Hull Street area is, an important project as well, as Daniel stated, the safety reasons there. All right, then moving on, we'll go to Transportation Alternatives Project Ranking, item number 9. Thank you, Phil.
Thank you. Is everyone able to see my screen?
Yes.
Hear me? Okay, thank you.
I can hear you too, Phil.
Fantastic, thank you. Yes, hopefully this one will be a little bit quicker, but it's the fiscal year 27-28 transportation alternative project rankings. And my mouse, there it goes. All right. The program is funded, the funding is dedicated primarily to bicycle and pedestrian projects. Both the TPO and the Commonwealth Transportation Board select projects. We have about 4.7 million that is in the TA this year, with about 4 million allocated through the CTB member. And I was going to say the project list is available on the website. It's not in the package, but we have the QR code, or it's already posted to the page or on the Plan RVA website. So staff, we coordinated with VDOT, the Crater MPO, the Tri-Cities MPO, CTB member to review the projects. Staff recommended approach is to approve the priority list and allow maximum flexibility for the CT members to select projects within the region. And again, we're using the some bonus points here. Almost every one of your localities has submitted projects that we've had for active transportation for bicycle and pedestrian infrastructure. And we give points to those for regional spines, as you can see here in the graphic, PSAP corridors, etc. And so we have the benefit cost approach is like other regional funding and state funding programs that you're accustomed to as well. So of those projects that made it to the top of our list, all of them did have some points awarded, but it's pretty small, you know, the bonuses that it gives you. But so the requested action that TAC should review the project rankings and recommend the approval of the project rankings as we go forward. And like I said, it's about 4.7 million for TAC. I'm sorry, for the TAP program. And then the CT member has about 4 million.
Thank you for your presentation, Phil. Any discussion about what is being presented in the project rankings? Let's see if we've got any hands. Okay, I see a hand up with Sharon.
I just wanted to make a comment. Just I know we had the TA ratings come before us at another earlier meeting this year, and there was the state rankings versus the regional rankings. And of course, they're different. Like some are ranking a lot lower, some of Henrico's, on this ranking versus the state ranking. So it's just, I just want to point out the difference. I know Plan RVA is following the prioritization process that was agreed to. And I know at least for some of our scores, they went down, I think, due to total cost or the regional element added in with the equity emphasis areas. And I guess, depending, I guess, whether it's a spine or spur. So I just wanted to point that out to other TAC members.
Thank you, Sharon.
Thank you.
Any other comments or concerns? If not, will we consider a motion?
JJ, I make a motion for approval of the Transportation Alternatives Project rankings as presented.
Thank you, JJ. Do we have a second?
I'll second. This is Daniel Wagner.
Thank you, Daniel. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed? Very well. We'll move on to item number 10, the public transportation plan presentation with GRTC.
Good morning. Thanks so much. This is Patricia Robinson with GRTC. I'm not sure that I'm able to share my screen.
Sid's gonna fix that for you, Ms. Robinson.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, I think you're all set.
Thanks so much.
We've got you.
All right. Sorry, there we go. A little finagling on which screen is showing what. So what I have for you today is the same item that we brought to the TPO TAC last month as well. This is our regional public transportation plan, and right now GRTC is working in coordination with Jared Walker Associates to update our regional plan for FY27, as well as our future plans moving forward. Apologies. There we go. So this effort is with the creation of CVTA. The collaboration with the TPO is necessary. This provides updates on our service priorities and our funding strategies for the upcoming fiscal year.
Hey, Patricia?
Oh, I'm so sorry.
No, you're fine. Just wanted to grab your attention and let you know.
Yeah, thank you.
Mhm.
And so for the action item for today, this is our FY27 Regional Public Transportation Plan update with the funding allocations as follows. The maintenance of current effort would be around 31 million. Local capital matches sitting at 2 million. And the regional studies, much like last year, is sitting at about 100,000. So overall, the ask here is that we would spend $33 million when our projected budget is 95 million for FY27. Is there any, I'm happy to take any questions on this allocation breakdown. Or if anyone had any questions about, I know Adrian mentioned last round, kind of the plan for 28, that we were going to encourage more participation from the jurisdictions and working with Jared Walker and Associates for a greater plan.
Yes, I see a hand raised. Let's see, Amy.
Okay, good morning. Thank
Morning.
you. I'm just wondering, Patricia, what is your balance right now for the CVTA funding? Your total balance?
I actually might have to lean on Miles for that one. I'm not sure.
I thought it was like, I mean, it's significant, right? Like 100 million or something, maybe not quite that much. So I'm just wondering with, your maintenance of effort, that is for your local funding contribution, and then you're saying you're going to use 30 million or 30 some million of CVTA to get to your projected $95 million budget for fiscal year 27.
Yes, the total ask is for about 33 million. Or this plan highlights the use of 33 million.
Of the CVTA. So I think
Yes.
your annual receipts, if I'm not mistaken, is, go back and look at my notes, but I believe it's in the 100 million.
I'd have to follow up and confirm that.
Okay. I'd like to understand better what your balance is and how that money is going to be used for CVTA funding.
Understood. I can follow up with you about that.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, if I can just add, for the FY28 cycle, as Adrian kicked off last month, we're doing a more extensive update with everyone, so it's going to be working together kind of throughout the entire year rather than just in the spring. So I think we'll be in a better place to provide a lot of the detail, both at the Plan RVA side and GRTC during the course of that process. So I think that's all coming up, but just wanted to make sure that that was on everyone's radar, that we are going to be reaching out to continue this coordination throughout the year.
Thank you, Miles.
Yeah. I thank you, Miles. I understand that, but we need to understand what the balance is. We understand going forward, but this is not new. This discussion has been happening now for a long time. I would also like to understand fully what has happened since 2018 and launch of the new system. What what changes have been made to the system? And why are we not able to continue to provide that level of frequency in certain areas and on certain routes? And also fully understand why the driver shortage is happening. That's very disconcerting. Thank you.
Thank you, Amy. Daniel, you'll have your hand raised. You would like to give some comments?
Yes, thank you so much. And I wanted to just give a quick, I guess, snapshot. Ms. Inman, thank you for the questions. I think those are very good ones. I don't have the most up-to-date numbers. I'm sure GRTC can circle the wagons and provide it, but the fund balance for CVTA as of December 31st, 2025 was 58,996,913. So obviously there's a few months lag on that, but I think it gives us a little bit of a sense of the state of the funding source. And then I'm looking forward to digging in, Ms. Inman, as you suggested as well, to see how we can really ensure that we've got a solid approach moving forward so that we're looking at sustainable growth. But City of Richmond is fully supportive and excited to be involved in this regional transportation plan. So thank you, Ms. Robinson, for presenting as well.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Daniel. And I think I've seen a chat message from Mr. Parsons with some additional data. All right, any further discussion about the numbers?
And if I can, Madam Chair, I can touch on what Amy mentioned about the driver shortage as well for a moment.
Yes, please do.
Okay, great. The driver shortage that we are facing currently, as many of you know, we had some schedule reductions and level of service for our February booking. That is outside of this effort. So speaking with operations, it was kind of a series of events. We had reached the appropriate number of operators and halted training classes. That is not something that we will have a standard practice moving forward. We've incorporated room in our budget for training classes to be happening consistently with a minimum of 10 operators per class. And so because of that pause in driver classes, we kind of did have our usual retention issues as far as, people possibly not passing. As far as operators taking leave, retirement, and it just kind of snuck up on us a little bit. We do see increase of callouts as well during the winter months. So that combination led us to kind of right size our schedules and our service to the operators that we had available in lieu of missing same-day trips. So the thought behind that process was we wanted to ensure that customers knew when buses were coming and that we could be more reliable with our service moving forward. So it is unfortunate, and we are putting back service. The intent is still to put back service as soon as we get drivers onboarded and ready to go. There's already conversations of how to put tripper service back in, even ahead of our next scheduled service updates. So just that is something that we are consciously working towards, but that is outside of this effort.
Thank you, Patricia.
Thank you, Patricia. Patricia, when is your next training scheduled?
They have one now. I think they've been doing at least one a month, but it takes about 3 months start to finish for an operator to be onboarded.
Good to know. And then, yes, of course, the weather probably played a factor in that as well. Any other discussion with the members? I see Wood, your hand up.
Just real quick, is that training for both paratransit operators and large transit vehicle operators?
Oh, excellent question. The 3-month is for CDL for the large vehicle operations. It is less time for paratransit, but I don't have that time length in front of me, but we are kind of running concurrent training classes,
Thank you. And a
as well
follow-up
as with
question.
Link, our microtransit as well.
Are you seeing the driver shortage more on the CDL side or the non-CDL side?
A little bit more heavily on the CDL side, but that is also because there's just so much more volume there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure.
The discussion. Any other comments from the members?
I have one real quick, and just apologies. Could I just get clarification again on what action we're taking right now?
Yes, this is the action to approve GRTC's request to spend 33 million of our CBTA funds for FY27. So it's approval of the funding priorities listed out as the maintenance of effort, the local capital matches, and the regional studies.
I have one more question, sorry. Where's my hand?
Yes.
Okay, so your maintenance of effort, that's your current service. That's not what you're expecting to get to with a full load of drivers, contingent of drivers. So what is your maintenance of effort for the current service? Is that what you're deploying today, or is that what you hope to be deploying once you're fully staffed?
That is our fully staffed effort.
And when do you expect that to happen? I know you said it's a couple of months, 3 months to have drivers on board, but how many drivers are going through the class, and how many do you actually need?
I'm not sure how many are in the class to date. There is a certain percentage that we expect to, pass and go through. We are working with the operations team to see how much service we can, make a schedule for how much we can put back at each time. So we have a priority list that we work with to add in Rrtpo services. And so that's the individuals who have gone through training, who are approved, can start picking up Rrtpo service off the extra board ahead of any service schedule updates. Our next service updates are fully scheduled for the end of May, early June. And then that would be when we change the schedule to match the current number of drivers. But I don't have a set number as to how many duty positions we're able to put back at this time. We kind of have to wait till each graduating class is available.
I'm just going to make a note. I don't want to hold you up, right? I mean, I understand your budget process, but I am not comfortable with the amount of information that we have right now. So again, I'm not going to hold this up, but I really think that we need to have a better understanding of what GRTC is doing. $50 million in your reserve fund, and we can't have drivers to really provide the level of service that's needed is disconcerting to me. And I still have not received any answers on what you're doing with the existing microtransit service. So does this maintenance of effort include the microtransit service that's currently being deployed in the rural localities, including Powhatan?
A lot of those are other grants as well, but it is for all current services. This is our baseline maintenance of effort.
All right, we need to have a better handle on how GRTC is using their CBTA money. But again, I'm not going to hold this up. That's just my general statement. Thank you.
Thank you, Amy.
Madam Chair, if I can just clarify one item on the requested action for this.
Yes, Miles.
So again, just to remind everyone, for the CBTA, ultimately the CBTA approves this item. It's required to be developed in coordination with the Rrtpo, which is the purpose of bringing it before the TPO TAC and the policy board when we do. So the request from this is basically to support that this was coordinated with the Rrtpo through this process. And so it's, again, this is a supporting, we're not at the end of the day approving these numbers. That's ultimately the CBTA's prerogative to approve the use of the funds.
Thank you for that clarification. I have a question for Ms. Robinson. Historically, with your CDL training classes, what historically has been the percentage of graduating, if you will say graduating participants from those classes? Would you say it's 80% of your class, or?
I'd say it's a little bit lower than that. Probably, I'd say 60 or 70% is what we typically see as far as people getting onboarded, passing the CDL, learning how it works and what their job duties are going to entail, and really feeling like it's a good, strong fit for them.
Thank you. Sometimes that historical data helps drive some decisions on forecasting. So, all right. Let's see. Do we have anyone else to speak? Daniel, are you trying to share some information with us on the chat?
Yes, just providing some of those harder numbers. Good questions are being asked. And again, my stuff is always out of date, but based on the February board meeting, you'll see in the chat some workforce recovery efforts based on GRTC's most recent strategy.
Thank you, Daniel. I appreciate that. I should have had those in front of me.
Oh, you're good. You're more planning than operations. You've been doing a good job.
Good.
I just have one more question, Madam Chair. So
Yes,
Miles, I understand that, we're just approving coordination, but I think the intent of the legislation was to make sure that the TPO understands exactly what's happening, the service that's being deployed, right? That's part of the coordination. So are you saying that at the CVTA TAC, whenever this comes, I guess, before the CVTA TAC, that all of this information and all of these details are going to be available, and at that point, we'll be able to make the vote to make the approval to expend the 30 million in CVTA funds for their fiscal year 27 service?
Madam Chair, if I may, no, my intent was just to clarify that what the action from the Rrtpo is merely to support that there's been coordination and that the process has gone through the Rrtpo, and we're supporting the decision. There is no approval is what I was really driving at, that the MPO doesn't have any approval authority over the funds. So I was just trying to make sure that that distinction was clear.
I understand, but are you saying that we're going to have that information at our CVTA TAC meeting?
I don't have anything as far as what's on the agenda for the CVTA.
Because right now we don't have, this isn't even real coordination, but okay.
I did have a quick follow-up, like if we wanted additional information, if we didn't take action on this meeting, how does that impact the schedule for this? Is there time in the schedule for us to have more information at the next meeting, or does this action need to be taken today?
I would need action today to be able to take this forward to GRTC's Board of Directors, which is the next steps that it's set for.
Madam Chair, from the TPO perspective, we don't have a rush because we have another TAC meeting before the next policy board meeting. From our perspective, it's not going to be at the policy board level till April 23rd. So we could revisit this again at the April TAC meeting, assuming that doesn't mess up any of the other scheduling for GRTC.
Ms. Robinson, is there room for your board of directors to let us consider this in April?
Sorry, just thinking through that.
Yeah.
I don't think that there's
Schedule.
any issue there.
Okay, and I do see a hand up with Wood.
I can lower my hand if this is going to be deferred. I was just wanting clarification again on what the TAC is being asked to do, if this is more of an informational item or if this is something that does require a vote, I think that would be helpful for us to understand, because it, you know, we're talking like it's now a informational item. So I just want to make sure we're clear on the action required, and it might be helpful if when we revisit this, there's a kind of a set out expectation.
Yeah, I agree. So if Ms. Robinson, is this just basically for your board? I think if you have time in your board schedule, maybe this body would like to maybe reconsider this. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think that would be okay if we want to defer this to next meeting, and allow for more opportunity for discussion in that meeting.
All right, very well. Very good questions and discussions. I understand the need for good information, and with that said, generally consensus, is there anyone who would like to make a motion at this time or any further discussion?
I'll make a motion, Madam Chair, that we delay this action item until the April TPO Technical Advisory Committee meeting, with the expectation that GRTC will bring back full level of information based on the maintenance of their current service, and the driver shortage and how that's being handled and everything that we've discussed here today. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Inman. Do we have a second to Ms. Inman's motion?
Second with Naomi with VDOT.
Thank you, Naomi. All right, then we'll do a voice vote. All those in favor of the motion on the floor, say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Any further discussion? All right, seeing none, then we'll ask GRTC just to prepare to have some additional information for us going forward to the April TPO. And we'll go ahead and move on to our transportation agency updates and get an update from Wood Hudson from DRPT.
Sure. Thank you, Madam Chair. Just a couple quick updates. A reminder that the 5303 application is open in DRPT's WebGrains portal. That's scheduled currently to close May 1st. We're waiting on FTA for apportionment table information to be able to get the MPO amounts out to everybody, and we're hoping that will be sometime this month, but stay tuned. That could go longer depending on how long it takes FTA to approve the apportionment tables. Our coordinated human service mobility plan is now up on our website. I believe we've also launched some additional resources around that, mainly a interactive story map that kind of provides a lot of the information and maps that are associated with that plan in a really nice formatted environment. Lastly, I wanted to mention that our rail team is kicking off the statewide rail plan efforts. There is a survey that's supposed to be going out this month, so stay tuned and kind of keep an eye on your email for a link to that survey. I believe this is going out to a compiled list of stakeholders that have engaged in the previous plan. So MPOs, PDCs, and localities. If you're interested in learning more about the rail plan, feel free to reach out to me and I can put you in touch with our rail planning team. And that concludes my updates for today.
Thank you, Wood. All right, we'll get any other updates from GRTC, Ms. Robinson?
Oh, that'll be me.
Corey?
Yeah, no problem. I just have a few small updates. So GRTC operators and maintenance staff just competed in the Virginia statewide bus and maintenance rodeo over this past weekend. The annual competition tests safety skills, technical knowledge, and vehicle handling through timed driving and diagnostic challenges. 4 GRTC operators and 1 maintenance team represented the agency. Operator Kenyon Brown earned 2nd place, and GRTC's maintenance team placed 3rd. Lastly, please mark your calendars. There are several community events coming up this month that will support and celebrate open access transit across the region. First one is on March 11th. That is the Transit Access Partnership. We'll hold a fundraiser at Chipotle. It's specific Chipotle at 7106 Midlothian Turnpike. That event is from 4 to 8 p.m. and all or 25% of the sales that happen at that Chipotle will support open access transit. So please come out and spread the word. And then later in the month, on March 27th, from 4 to 8 p.m. as well, partners and supporters will gather at Benchtop Craft Brewing Company, and that is on Whole Street. And that is to mark 6 years of open access service and the impact it had for riders across the region. Short and sweet this month. That's the only updates I have.
Thank you, Corey. We appreciate those outreach events in the communities, so thank you for that. Mr. O'Keefe with Ride Finders, you can give us your update.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Madam Chair. Ride Finders was busy last month. We promoted the outreach services at Southside Plaza along with GRTC, engaging with ridership about the temporary service adjustments and how those may, impact their community. As Corey has said, we've registered for several upcoming outreach events, especially for the month of April, to include an Earth Day event at Riverfront Plaza, several wellness and expos such as the State Wellness Expos, the Better Housing Coalition Transportation Fair, another one at the State Corporation Commission with the Benefits Fair and the Virginia Department of Human Resource Management Benefits Fair, all in April, that we're registered to be at. We continue the campaign, which encourages behavior change and promotes sustainable community features through Cost Calculator, one of the Team Ride Finders heroes, and challenges individuals across the region to track their travel choices. We hosted a table at the VCU Health Safety Fair at the MCV campus earlier this month. We also attended multiple events such as the VT Advocacy Day last month and the Richmond Career Fair at the Hilton downtown and the Chamber RVA Henrico Business Council coffee conversations, as well as the Better Housing Coalition table talk at one of the apartment communities. And last but not least, we met with our HR department, where we met with the HR department at Live Casinos to discuss Ride Finder services and the creation of a density plot map, which GRTC is assisting with. And we're working on van pooling and carpooling. And that's my update, and I'll be glad to answer any questions anybody may have.
Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Naomi, you can give us your updates at VDOT.
Sounds good. And John, appreciate that update. Love hearing you all just popping up at existing events and getting the information out. That's really amazing. So I have some updates for the Commonwealth Transportation Board. They met in February on the 17th. The biggest thing that happened at that meeting, there was a discussion on smart scale. So they talked about potentially adding something for high priority project eligibility. So Smart Scale has 2 pots of funds, the kind of statewide funding pot, that HPP, High Priority Project Fund, and the DGP, the District Fund. So they are taking into consideration adding innovative intersections as an eligible project for that statewide pot of funding. No decision's been made yet. That was a discussion item, but they will be discussing again and potentially taking action on this at the March meeting next week. There were also some 6-year improvement transfers in the Richmond district. There were 3 of them. No issues there. They were all approved unanimously. And as I mentioned, the Commonwealth Transportation Board meets next week, March 17th at 8:30 a.m. is the workshop, and the action meeting is March 18th. It does seem like they've been combining the 2 meetings in one day. So we'll see once the agenda comes out if any changes are made, but that's the schedule right now. Some internal updates, transportation alternatives. Those recommendations, you should see those in the draft SYIP, the 6-year improvement plan in the spring. So we've had the meetings, the Commonwealth Transportation Board members have met, the MPO and the Richmond District have met. We've all talked to each other, came up with suggestions, but those will be released in that draft SYIP in the spring. As for revenue sharing, the best I've heard is that these will be on the Commonwealth Transportation Board agenda in March. So if you're interested in seeing where those recommendations are standing, similar to, I'm not sure what format it's going to take, but just like the transportation alternatives came out in the scorecard for conversation, there'll be a similar list of projects coming out for conversation at that March agenda, that March meeting. And then, as you all know, Smart Scale is happening, round 7. Applications opened up on the 2nd of March, and they close on April 1st at 5 p.m. I'm slowly tricking out emails to the different localities and organizations that let me know they're applying, just with some either quick follow-ups saying, make sure you're not considering franchise agreements and so forth, or with some specific follow-ups as well. So be on the lookout. If you have questions, I'm the contact for the district, so reach out to me anytime about Smart Scale applications. And then I wanted to share some public hearings and some training opportunities really quick. So there are some public hearings and engagement opportunities. One's for Goochland County. So through truck traffic restriction, Parkside Village subdivision, there is some open public comment period happening right now. That public comment period is from February 10th to March 14th. Those are written comments that can be submitted. And then there is an in-person meeting happening regarding hard surfacing of 1.4 miles in New Kent of Clark Road. That's happening on March 9th. So I guess that happened yesterday. My apologies. So that was held yesterday to have that conversation. And then I wanted to share that we do have a training coming up this week on March 12th. So if you're interested in learning more about right-of-way utility phase authorization as a project manager, that's the training for you. It's not a full day training. It's only 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. It is at the Richmond District office. And if you have any questions or want to get on that list, if you want to be notified of trainings, Amy Ettinger is the person to reach out to. And let me know if anyone has any questions.
Thank you, Naomi. Always appreciate those trainings.
Thanks.
All right, any questions for our agencies with their updates? And then, okay, so we'll look at, always just take a look at our Plan RVA newsletter, item 12 on the agenda. Better Together, we always get a lot of good information there. Any comments from the TAC members? And would you all like an update on the ICG? I guess, is that appropriate for me to share, Miles?
Yes, I mean, I could give an update. So everyone, I think, knows that we just voted to open the public comment on the draft conformity report. So we had the interagency consultation at 9 o'clock, which is what led to the delay for this meeting. We will have another conformity process in May or June. And so we'll be revisiting how the scheduling works to make it a little bit smoother between the 2 meetings for the next one. But that's really the only update we had on the conformity and interagency consultation.
Thank you, Miles. Yeah, that was a little challenging for me this morning, but thank you. We made it through. All right, and so if there's no further comments from the committee, our next meeting will be Tuesday, April the 14th at 9 a.m. And with that said, I hope you all have a great day. This meeting is adjourned.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you.